Tonight, shots fired in St. Vital.
My thoughts are with those who were inside the residence, especially the children.
What we know about a fatal police shooting in South Winnipeg and how a new piece of technology is aiding in the investigation. Also tonight, new pads from a printer.
It's totally transforming how we can approach construction.
3D house printing technology arrives in Manitoba. How it works and what sets it apart from traditional home building. Plus, the kid from St. Vital hangs up his skates.
You know, as the old saying goes, it takes a village, and in my case, that couldn't be more true.
How Jonathan Toews is saying goodbye to the sport he loves.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A 26-year-old man is dead after a confrontation with Winnipeg police early this morning. Officers were responding to a domestic call in St. Vital where they were told a suspect was armed with an edged weapon. Police shot the suspect, who later died in hospital, and the entire incident may have been captured on video. Standing by live to explain is CTV's Jeff Keel. Jeff, what is this video evidence?
Body camera footage. 40 officers started wearing cameras a week and a half ago, and one of them was present at the shooting. This is a neighbor's video of emergency personnel loading a patient into an ambulance after an officer shot a suspect during a domestic incident call in St. Vital early Friday morning. A 26-year-old man is dead.
That's scary. It's scary. It used to be so quiet around here. That's why we moved out here.
It's scary. Yeah, it's really scary.
The independent investigation unit has taken over the probe. The IIU says around 1:28 a.m., police responded to this apartment complex on Morrow Avenue. A woman who was home with 4 children told police her boyfriend was fighting with her. She had a bruised face and requested an ambulance. She said there was a history of violence with the man and she had a protective order from the courts. The IIU also says the woman reported the man had an edged weapon.
Initial information indicated that an adult male suspect was violent, armed with a weapon, and that children were present in the residence.
The IIU says 3 minutes later, the man, armed with a weapon, confronted officers. One of them fired their gun. The suspect was taken to Health Sciences Center but later died.
Our officers do not come to work at the start of their day planning to take a life.
A week and a half ago, 40 Winnipeg police officers started wearing cameras as part of a pilot project. And it appears the program may be getting its first big test. Police say one of the officers at this shooting was equipped with a body camera. The video evidence will be used as part of the IIU's investigation.
Body-worn camera footage can help provide context and transparency, but the video captured by the body-worn camera is just one piece of evidence.
Chief Bauer says the officers involved have been provided support through the service's behavioral health unit and are off work as per protocol. The chief also said they're exploring supports for the woman and children involved. Bauer says he reached out to Indigenous leaders as this incident involved Indigenous people.
Jeff, will the public ever get to see the body cam footage from this shooting?
Possibly. Bauer says there will be an inquest at some point, and if the video is part of the record at that inquest, it could become public. But Marilee, as we've reported before, Canada is not the U.S. We have stricter privacy laws around this type of footage.
All right, thanks for this, Jeff. A long-running city councilor has decided not to seek re-election. John Orlico, who spent 17 years representing River Heights Fort Garry, made the announcement today. In a statement, Orlico says it's been an honor serving in elected office, and now it's time for a new adventure. Over the years, he's served as deputy mayor and chair of various committees, including community services and property development. Prior to his first municipal election victory in 2009, Orlico served 10 years as a trustee for the Winnipeg School Division. A destructive pest that can wreak havoc on potato fields has been discovered in Manitoba for the first time. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says golden nematode has been detected on a potato farm in southwestern Manitoba. While the tiny creature poses no risk to human or animal health, the CFIA says it can reduce potato yields by as much as 80%. Their eggs are also known to lie dormant, but stay viable in the soil for decades, making it difficult to eradicate them. The agency says it has put quarantine measures in place at the affected farm, and nearby fields will be monitored.
So potato cyst nematode can be managed through the use of resistant varieties. So there are potato varieties that will cause the nematodes to leave the little cyst, and when they try to attack the roots of the plant, they're not able to do so. And so those resistant varieties really are the best tool in our toolbox for managing this pest, as is a good crop rotation, allowing years between potato crops.
The CFIA says no seed potatoes were exported to the U.S. from the field in the past 10 years, but seed potatoes were shared with other farms in the province, which has resulted in further testing. When Jonathan Toews hit the ice at Canada Life Centre in front of a roaring crowd of Winnipeg Jets fans last fall, no one knew we were watching the first act of his farewell tour. Here's CTV's Daniel Homerson with a look back on Toews' legendary career.
Jonathan Toews' hockey career was defined by stepping up in the biggest moments. But now he's skating away from the sport after 16 NHL seasons.
I guess in a way, I kind of feel prepared for this moment. More nervous than I thought I would be.
Toews is retiring with a surefire Hall of Fame resume. And on Friday, he thanked teammates, coaches, management, family, friends, and fans for helping make that happen.
I realize it's a privilege to be standing up here to say goodbye to the game of hockey.
On the international stage, he played on 2 Olympic gold medal winning teams, and before that put on a heroic performance at the World Juniors.
I'm going in that shootout, I remember that, and kept going and kept scoring. It was so impressive.
But it was in the Windy City where Toews cemented his legacy. Captain Sirius led the Chicago Blackhawks to 3 Stanley Cup championships in 15 seasons.
If I can remember some of the feelings that stood out, it's almost like it doesn't feel real.
Toews took 2 years off from playing to deal with long COVID-related health issues, but he triumphantly returned for the 2025-26 season with his hometown Winnipeg Jets.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to live out my dream of pulling on that Jet sweater.
Toews suited up in all 82 games for the Jets, scoring 11 goals and adding 18 assists, but admitted Friday the grind took its toll.
I think a big part of this decision was just putting my health first and putting my standard of life first.
Jets captain Adam Lowry says Toews will go down as one of the best two-way centers the game's ever seen.
He did it all. He's a winner. He's a leader. I think if you look back on his career, that's kind of the thing that sticks out.
And Jets co-owner Mark Chipman says Toews' greatness transcends what he did on the ice.
Jonathan, you made the game better because you made everyone around you better, and it took it to another level.
And in his final big moment, Toews says he wouldn't have it any other way.
Someone told me that we'd be standing here today and this is how my career would go out. I would have signed up for that 100 times over.
Daniel Homerson, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The annual Manitoba Marathon is back in action this Sunday, and road closures will start happening in preparation tomorrow. Chancellor Matheson Road between Research Way and University Crescent will close at 8 a.m. Saturday and stay closed until 3 p.m. Sunday. Now, speaking of Marathon Day, you should expect increased traffic because there will only be single lanes open on many of the roads in southern part of the city, specifically from 2 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will also be no access to eastbound Jubilee from Pembina Highway. And if you were planning on heading towards Wellington Crescent, you're going to want to rethink those plans as well because the marathon route goes right through that area this year. Transit is also being rerouted during the closures. For the exact marathon route, you can head to racepoint.ca. All right, and speaking of the marathon and the weekend at hand, Colleen is in now with your weekend Skywatch forecast. How's it shaping up?
Conditions for Marathon Sunday morning look fantastic. The sun will be shining. The temperature's not too warm. Our afternoon high temperature that day is 22 degrees. It's not just Manitoba Marathon Day, of course, it's also Father's Day. And the summer solstice arrives very early Sunday morning. But until we get there, we've got to deal with this. We've got scattered showers and thunderstorms falling across southern Manitoba, east into northwestern Ontario. And Environment Canada has taken the added step of issuing a special weather statement regarding the potential for funnel clouds that could develop yet this evening. Coming up, I'm not going to show you that solstice just yet. Oops, I gave something away a little earlier there than I meant to. As for those funnel clouds or the potential of them, I will show you what it is about these thunderstorms that could make those funnel clouds develop tonight. And yes, we'll talk about the arrival of the summer solstice a little later on. But for now, let's take a look through the CTV Live Eye. It's brought to you by BathFit, our exclusive home of the PermaFit solution in Winnipeg right now. 18 degrees, winds out of the north-northeast at 15 kilometers an hour. The pressure's rising and the humidity right now, merrily, is 63%.
Thanks, Colleen. Manitoba Provincial Court Judge Jerry Ryle has been appointed the province's first Associate Chief Judge for Reconciliation.
It is something that I got into law to help Indigenous peoples, so being able to have these opportunities to work alongside and empower Indigenous peoples and communities, and with the goal of healing Indigenous communities and peoples is certainly it's very impactful for me.
Ryle says she believes her role is the first in the country and hopes it paves the way for other jurisdictions to follow. Ryle, who's Anishinaabe from Lake St. Martin First Nation, was appointed to the bench last year after working as a Crown prosecutor and founding the Manitoba Prosecution Services Indigenous Advisory Council. The government says she's to preside over provincial court matters while taking on key administrative and leadership responsibilities, including supporting the chief judge in court management, advancing judicial education, and developing policy.
Her role will ensure that administrative decisions made within the court take into account Indigenous perspective. Ultimately, we intend to ensure that our court proceedings in the provincial court transform to a point that they better reflect the spirit of Indigenous legal orders.
Ryle is to begin her 7-year term in the new role beginning July 2nd. Today, it's possible to build toys, garden mounts, and more in your home with a 3D printer, and soon your home itself could be 3D printed. Corydon Construction is the first company in Manitoba to begin using the cutting-edge technology. CTV's John Hendrick shows you how it works and if the benefits it offers to builders.
Imagine if you could lay down concrete as easily as you can add icing to a cake. Well, imagine no longer. This pioneering 3D printing technology being developed by Corydon Construction here in Manitoba is able to do just that.
The material formulations and the sophistication is highly more intelligent than conventional concrete.
It works like a normal 3D printer, but on a much bigger scale. The company makes a specialized type of cement that can be placed by a robotic arm, sort of like squeezing out toothpaste from a tube.
The perfect consistency of a 3D printable material is a baby spoon.
What sets this apart from traditional construction technology is that the concrete is self-supporting within seconds and can be formed into any shape the builder imagines, without the need for wooden boards holding the concrete in place while it cures.
It's totally transforming how we can approach construction because we're no longer constrained by, we'll say, the traditional methods of building.
And once the building has been designed inside Corydon's computers, it can be perfectly duplicated anywhere you bring the printer to.
It's not like you're going to get a different framing crew or a different masonry crew that's going to have different ideas to approach the building. With 100% certainty, we can guarantee that the layouts will be exact.
Corydon Construction has already built a building using the 3D printing technology as a proof of concept. And officials say it could soon be put to work on a real project.
We do have an investment group that is actually seriously considering using this method of construction for, believe it or not, Airbnb summer homes.
They also believe 3D printing buildings could be perfect for high-risk environments vulnerable to wildfires or flooding. John Hendricks, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Today, the technique costs roughly 3% more than traditional construction. However, as it's an emerging technology, the company believes costs will fall in the next year or two as material systems mature and the industry gains more practical field experience. Is your house number facing your back lane? the city has been issuing far more citations this year than in any of the past 5 years. According to data provided by the city, 955 citations have been issued so far this year, compared to anywhere between 285 and 818 each year since 2022. The city says its seasonal staff usually look for issues like long grass and weeds, but because of the cool temperatures and slow growing season, they've had more time to look for other infractions. If a homeowner doesn't put their number up after being issued a citation, fines are $200 for individuals and $400 for corporations. Now, according to the city's livability bylaw, properties adjacent to a back lane must attach the number to a building, fence, or other structure so it is clearly visible. An iconic trail in the Whiteshell Provincial Park has officially reopened after devastating fires swept through the area last year. The province says the Mantario Trail, which straddles the border between our province and Ontario, is now open after some significant restoration work. It included clearing the entire 64-kilometer trail, along with campsites and portages, installing hundreds of new trail markers, and constructing a dozen new log bridges. Manitoba Parks partnered with the South Whiteshell Trail Association and a group of nearly 24 volunteers to get the job done. Still ahead, a bold new move to tackle Canada's housing crisis.
There's too many completed condos sitting empty.
Ottawa steps in to buy up unsold condos in a bid to boost affordability. Plus, a potential breakthrough in Mideast diplomacy, even as the U.S.-Iran deal to end the conflict faces criticism. Those stories and more when we return. Taking a look at the markets tonight, crude oil lost 19 cents. The Canadian dollar fell another 0.2 cents. Gold dropped $54. The TSX shed 111 points. And the American markets were closed for the Juneteenth holiday. Some concerning stats in the fight against zebra mussels tonight. Half of the vehicles stopped as part of an inspection blitz last month failed. 136 vehicles carrying 167 watercraft were stopped as part of the operation, which happened on Highway 1 near the Manitoba-Ontario border during the last weekend of May. Of those watercraft, officials say 99 were compliant, while the rest were not properly cleaned, drained, or dried. 14 required decontamination, and 1 had visible zebra mussels. The Department of Fisheries and Oceans says those violating the legislation can face steep fines, including a maximum $100,000 fine for a first offense. If you're on a wait list for a hip or knee replacement, there's a possibility you could be getting in faster than you thought. The Manitoba government is adding 200 hip and knee replacement surgeries across the province this year. The additional surgeries build on the expansion of care capacity at Selkirk Regional Health Centre, which already completed 800 of those surgeries this year. The move is intended to reduce the surgical backlogs and help residents receive care closer to home.
We're going to make sure that Manitobans can get this care in a timely way. We're going to make sure that we're meaningfully driving down, reducing those wait lists. We're going to make sure that Manitobans, no matter where they are finally getting the care that they deserve.
Patients will continue to be prioritized through the province's centralized surgical wait list system. A record 7,056 surgeries were completed in Manitoba last year, and nearly 70% of joint replacements are being performed as outpatient procedures. Among a suite of new measures announced yesterday to fight housing pressures in BC, a plan is here from the federal government to convert vacant condos into affordable housing. In one of North America's most expensive markets, thousands of finished units are sitting empty. CTV's Rachel Aiello has more on the plan and a pledge to cut development fees by up to 50%.
There's too many completed condos sitting empty.
While new housing is being built daily in this country, demand for affordable spaces continues to outpace supply. And so, in an effort to help address that imbalance, federal and provincial governments are trying something new to open up unoccupied units.
There is existing housing stock available that's been built that people would love to move into. They would love to make it their first home to buy, but they can't afford it.
Through the Build Canada Homes Agency, Ottawa will finance the offloading of unsold condos, converting more than 2,200 vacant units into affordable homes in British Columbia. This housing expert said the government should be able to scoop up units at a discount and turn around new, ready-to-live-in space for those in need fairly quickly.
So unlike a traditional, Build Canada Homes or social housing program, that we don't have to wait multiple years for them to get built. So we could get families in them in a month or two, but we haven't really seen those details from government yet.
And similar to a plan already in place in Ontario, BC and Ottawa will be spending $3.2 billion to cut the development charges municipalities impose on developers by up to 50%.
That could mean for a new unit reducing costs by up to $40,000.
While these fees are used to help build the infrastructure needed to support new builds, they also end up driving up the cost of new housing for buyers.
And so looking at some of these alternatives could make the whole system more efficient financially and also more affordable for buyers.
Before parliamentarians wrapped up their work here in Ottawa, Prime Minister Mark Carney's Build Canada Homes Bill became law, enacting a new agency that's sole mission is to build affordable housing. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
A potential breakthrough in the Middle East today. Israel and Hezbollah have agreed to a ceasefire in Lebanon, and it could be key to keeping the new U.S. deal with Iran intact. Olivia Rubin explains.
After deadly Israeli strikes overnight in Lebanon, today a potential breakthrough. Israel and Hezbollah agreeing to a new ceasefire. According to a U.S. official, it's a key part of the new 60-day deal between the U.S. and Iran, which calls for peace around the region. Israel not part of the drafting of that deal. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke with the Lebanese president today, who, according to the State Department, said disarming Hezbollah and reestablishing control over all Lebanese territory are priorities. In an interview with Axios today, President Trump discussing his relationship with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
It's good, but we have to keep him a little bit sane.
Negotiations for further agreements between the U.S. and Iran were supposed to start today in Switzerland, but Vice President J.D. Vance didn't go. Those talks called off at the last minute. A spokesperson for Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs saying the memo was signed, but there was no urgent need to meet, though plans are being made for a meeting in the coming days. President Trump today saying this.
We have an agreement that was signed last night. And it's 60 days. They have to make a deal. Otherwise, we will do things that won't make them happy. But I don't think it's going to get to that. I think it's going to be very good.
Back at home, some within the president's own party slamming the deal he made with Iran, which lifts all sanctions and could let them rake in billions of dollars.
Giving billions of dollars to theocratic lunatics who want to murder us is an exceptionally bad idea.
And new questions about what the U.S. is getting in return here. Iran in the deal not committing to destroying its nuclear stockpile, just agreeing to negotiate it over the next 60 days. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, New York.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is vowing to fight as he faces a new challenge to his Labour Party leadership.
If there is a contest, just to be clear with you, then yes, I will run, I will stand, and I've said repeatedly, I'm not going to walk away from that.
His comments come after a potential leadership rival, Andy Burnham, won a seat in Parliament in a decisive victory. Burnham told reporters today Britain needs fundamental change.
I say it again, it is our last chance to change, but we're going to take it, aren't we? We are going to take that opportunity and we are going to lay out a new path for Britain. But this time.
Burnham's election comes at a time when Starmer is struggling with some of the worst popularity ratings of any British leader. The federal government has announced a 10% tariff on canned vegetables coming into the country. It will be in place for a maximum of 200 days while officials look at whether increased imports are hurting domestic processors. The tariff will be stopped if they find that's not the case. Several countries are excluded from the tariff, including the U.S. and Mexico, among others. Some tense moments off the California coast when a shark was spotted following a surfer. Check out this drone video. It was taken off the coast of Santa Cruz recently. It shows that shark lurking after the man on the board caught its attention. The predator begins to close in and even circles the surfer. At one point, it gets right up behind the man, coming within just a few feet before peeling off. But through all of this, it's not known if the surfer even had any idea that shark was there.
I was really proud of the team to feel the emotion, but also stay focused on the task at hand.
A historic win on home soil, while Team Canada's blowout victory against Qatar opens an exciting new chapter for the country.
And a sunny Sunday kicks off the long-range forecast. It's also the first day of summer. It's Father's Day. It's Manitoba Marathon Day. And then we're likely to see rain return on Monday. Stronger chance, though, on Tuesday. Highs in the low 20s both of those days. Then the sunshine returns. Mix of sun and cloud Wednesday, Thursday. 23 Wednesday, up to 24 degrees by Thursday.
Last night's historic World Cup win was filled with many firsts for Team Canada. The first World Cup win, the first hat trick, and what was once thought improbable, the first time Canada has been positioned to advance to the next round. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
One day after the biggest day in the history of Canadian men's soccer, the team took to the training pitch at the University of British Columbia. The mood, bittersweet. A blowout 6-0 win over Qatar, which came with the loss of star Ismail Kone, who broke his leg in yesterday's match.
I was really proud of the team to feel the emotion, but also stay focused on the task at hand.
The task at hand was to win, which the team did decisively.
In World Cup history, there's never been such a dominant performance. That's the truth. And so I think our team will take a lot of confidence from that.
It's the first World Cup win ever for the men's team in only its third appearance. Up until this year, the Canadian men had never earned a World Cup point, a sign of how far the program has come.
This team checked a lot of boxes in the past couple of years, and the way and the fashion that we did was something that we're very proud.
Following the game, the Prime Minister visited the team's dressing room, praising their character.
But you showed a level of character that some people never achieve in their life.
A question going into this tournament, is Canada now a footballing nation? Based on the crowd yesterday and the result on the field, the answer seems to be an emphatic yes.
It was a tremendous sign. We don't have to hold our breath anymore or bite our nails. We're there.
From the outset, the goal of this team has been to win their group, which would allow them to remain in Vancouver for the first match of the knockout stage. To do that, they need at least a draw against Switzerland, a game that goes Wednesday in Vancouver. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady back now with an update on the potential for funnel clouds tonight.
That's right. We still have a special weather statement that remains in effect. It was issued earlier this afternoon by Environment and Climate Change Canada, relating to these scattered showers and, more importantly, these thunderstorms, which for the time being are non-severe, and that's the expectation they will stay that way. Having said that, here's a look at those areas lighting up in gray under that special weather statement. They do include the cities of Brandon and Winnipeg, and also Ontario, over the border there, Kenora, under that special weather statement as well, and areas further to the north. Now here's a look at Manitoba, back on our side of the provincial border here. When you have these thunderstorms like this, we can have these types of funnel clouds develop in weak rotation under weaker thunderstorms, or when you see those clouds build up quite rapidly. And the expectation is that these funnel clouds aren't typically dangerous, but if the rotation does speed up, they could touch down, which would then make a funnel cloud a tornado, or a weak landspout tornado is what would be the case should we see that happen tonight. Northwestern Ontario, here's a look at the storms passing through these areas as well. You can see Kenora getting quite the soaking, and areas off to the northeast there closing in on Dryden. So as we go through the next few hours, we'll see these scattered showers and potential thunderstorms continue to develop. Well, they're not just potential. They are developing in some areas. We could well see them in Winnipeg. But by later tonight, the sky clears out. Meanwhile, we've got that low that continues to spin around the northeast, continuing to bring showers and drizzle there into Saturday. Sunshine here in the south. We will see temperatures in the low 20s. Nice temperatures, but a little bit below normal for this time of year. Overnight, we go into Sunday, even sunnier across most of Manitoba and into northwestern Ontario. So for tonight, there's still a chance this evening of showers or a thunderstorm will clear out overnight. We drop down to 9. These north winds, a little gusty, they will diminish by mid-evening or so. 12 degrees to start off Saturday, and the sunshine winds out of the north at 15 kilometers an hour. More of a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon, a high of 20 degrees. The normal high, though, is closer to around 24, 25. The UV index for Saturday for the city is 6 or high. And then there's the summer solstice. It arrives overnight Saturday into Sunday, 3:24 a.m. Sunday morning, the official start of summer. Of course, Sunday is also Father's Day. Nice day, sunshine with an afternoon high temperature of 22 degrees. Also Manitoba Marathon Race Day. Nice, comfortable running conditions in the morning. Up in the northeast tonight, showers or drizzle for most areas, down to 1 in Churchill. Thompson tonight down to 8 degrees, soggy there. Cloudy in Thompson tomorrow, 15 degrees. Just 4 for Churchill, 14 for Island Lake with more showers. Gillam comes up the middle at around 9. The northwest tonight, there we go, northwestern Manitoba, partly cloudy there for most areas, 7, 8 degrees overnight, sunshine or a mix of sun and cloud. Now the Paw, there's outside chance you'll see showers in the afternoon, up to 18 there. The rest of the region, 18, 19 degrees in the sunshine. In the southwest tonight, at least early this evening, we've got those showers and thunderstorms coming through. Clearing overnight, most areas dropping down to 6 degrees. Sunny tomorrow, Brandon and Dauphin up to 20 in the sun. Similar conditions and temperatures for the rest of the southwest and the southeast tonight. Winnipeg, there's still the chance of showers or of a thunderstorm, but we do clear out overnight. There's a greater chance outside the city of showers or thunderstorms, but we can't rule them out entirely just yet. Sunshine or a mix of sun and cloud tomorrow. Areas to the north and to the east of the city do have a slight chance of afternoon showers. And in northwestern Ontario tonight, showers and thunderstorms moving through right now. Those will clear out later tonight. We drop down to lows between 7 and 9 degrees. Cloudy for the most part around the region tomorrow with highs of 9 and 8. Now look closely. Phil sent this photo of this cedar that is completely surrounded by all that rainwater just flooding that field, that farmer's field there that is out in the Arm of Rosser near Grosse Isle. And this lovely photo is from Claude out in Le Barrier, Manitoba. Send us your weather photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. Dozens of people came together to celebrate Indigenous culture in our city's downtown. This was the 5th annual event called Hey Cousin, hosted at the Broadway Neighborhood Center. It's an event organized by dozens of community partners, including Bear Clan Patrol, Manitoba Moon Voices, and West Broadway Biz, among others. A community breakfast celebrating National Indigenous Peoples Day was held with traditional drums, a pipe ceremony, and live music. Organizers say the event is rooted in respect and is easy for everyone to enjoy.
It's about bringing the community together, sharing breakfast with our relatives, and having all these organizations all pitch in together to create something for the community.
National Indigenous Peoples Day is Sunday. Still to come tonight, some startling science, why a new study is casting doubt on omega-3 supplements as a way to boost memory and cognition. Medical Watch is next. With household debt outpacing income and insolvency filings reaching their highest level since 2008, people on the prairies are placing blame, but it's not on the financial system as you might expect. Instead, according to new data from Angus Reid, borrowers are being primarily held responsible. Joining me now to explain is Sean Stack, a licensed insolvency trustee who actually commissioned this study. Sean, good to speak with you.
Good to speak with you as well.
Give us an idea of what percentage of those on the prairies feel this way. What do the numbers tell us?
Well, so as far as the numbers go, the people on the prairies are a little bit different than how we're looking at for the rest of Canada. So a lot of people for the prairies, about 52% are saying that lenders should be sharing this responsibility, whereas compared to the rest of Canada, it's about 58%. And then when people, as far as them being responsible themselves, whether it's their responsibility or the lender should hold responsibility for the insolvency happening, in Saskatchewan and Manitoba, about 52% of the people are saying, yeah, it should be it falls on the individual, and 46 are saying no, for Canada it should actually be the others.
Did these findings surprise you in any way?
Yeah, Marilee, Very much so. I think one of the big issues that we have with a situation like this, when we find ourselves in insolvency, being unable to pay our debts, we often sort of think it's our responsibility, and we fail to recognize that the system itself is built in to allow us to restructure in the event that we do get into a bad situation. So it's shocking to see that a lot of people don't feel justified in being able to utilize this when the rules are actually set up that way so you can get into a better place.
Does the study or the data give us any idea into why we feel this way? Do we know what's contributing to these feelings?
Well, no, the study didn't really get too deep into exactly what the reasons are. I did kind of explore that in my book called Beyond Material Salvation, relooking at rethinking insolvency and debtor morality. And I believe what it really comes down to is this idea of I call it self-optimization, where we're living in this culture of this hustle culture of you can do anything and you just have to put in the work and you can achieve anything you want. And we forget or we discount the impact of the systemic holdbacks that are on us, and then when we're unable to actually achieve that goal that we set out to, we're overly harsh on ourselves.
You know, seeing the result of this is landing on borrowers, whether people feel it is or not. Any advice you can offer to people maybe, struggling to make ends meet or feeling the pressure of debt crushing down on them?
Well, yeah, I would say it's normal. This is, it's like that old bird song, to every season, turn, turn, turn. We're in a season right now. We're in this technical recession. It's going to result in insolvencies. This is what happens. It's part of the system to reset itself. And so if you find yourself in a bad situation, don't abuse yourself over this. Make sure, if you're unwell, you go speak with a doctor. If you're not doing well financially, you speak with a licensed insolvency trustee. You learn about what your options are so that you can get into a better place. It's not the end of the world. It's actually just kind of the start of the new one.
And great to get your insight into the data. Thanks so much for your time tonight, Sean. It was great speaking with you.
Great speaking with you as well.
After years of being promoted as a way to stave off Alzheimer's disease and dementia, a new clinical trial finds omega-3 fish oil or LJ supplements may not be having the desired effect. The study divided 365 people without dementia between ages 55 and 80 into treatment and control groups. All had extremely low omega-3 levels and at least one risk factor for dementia. The treatment group was given a high dose of omega-3 LJ supplements every day for 2 years, and both groups underwent MRI brain scans, blood tests, and cognitive testing throughout the study. The results show even though omega-3 levels rose in the brains of those who took the supplements, there were no improvements in cognition or the size of the hippocampus. Researchers say if you want to optimize your brain health, you should exercise, reduce stress, get quality sleep, and eat a plant-based diet, which includes omega-3s from fatty fish, nuts, and seeds. Researchers believe they found a solution to slow the spread of malaria.
This particular new yeast species, we think, really could change the game against malaria.
A common type of yeast may be enticing to the mosquito, responsible for spreading one of the world's deadliest diseases. Researchers at Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health say it's becoming harder to control the spread of malaria as the infected mosquitoes are becoming resistant to insecticide. They set out to see if yeast could be used to attract the insects.
When mosquitoes landed on it, they actually got stuck. And their legs sank into this slimy, like quicksand of this yeast.
The team is now hoping to harness that stickiness to create a biodegradable glue, which could potentially be used to make cheap mosquito traps. The World Health Organization estimates 610,000 people died globally from malaria in 2024.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
An award-winning score brought to the stage here in Winnipeg. The WSO's movie concert series is back for another season, and it begins with a James Bond classic. All those details next in Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Charlie Barron's.
There are events planned across the country this Sunday to mark National Indigenous Peoples Day, and that includes a full slate of activities over at the Forks here in Winnipeg. Now, it all gets started with a welcoming ceremony at Udena Circle at 10:30. That's followed by a powwow at the CN Stage and Field. And throughout the day, you can check out a market and food vendors, a drag brunch, sharing and beating circles, drumming, games, live music, and so much more. The day concludes with a concert at the CN Stage, headlined by Winnipeg-based musician Isla Barker. You can find the full details on the Forks website. And here's a look at just some of the other events taking place in Manitoba this weekend. The Winnipeg International Jazz Festival and Red River X continue. Steinbach welcomes summer to the city with entertainment, including Owen Riegling. Thompson hosts Nickel Days with headliner Dean Brody. Reston and Boissevain are also hosting their summer fairs. The Manitoba Highland Gathering is on in East Selkirk. Boulder celebrates the summer solstice. Glenbrough hosts Family Day. Shoal Lake has It's Just For You Days. Little Valley Jamboree features live music and more, all in support of children living with additional needs in rural Manitoba. You can find a full list of events this weekend right on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. The Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra's movie season kicks off this fall, and it's bound to leave you shaken, not stirred. WSO will be performing the BAFTA-winning original score to Skyfall alongside a viewing of the Daniel Craig film. There are 2 shows set for October 2nd and 3rd. Other films in this season's concert series include How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Barbie the Movie, and The Wizard of Oz. You can find more information and tickets by visiting WSO.ca. Well, get ready to explore Corydon Avenue this summer on foot. Downtown Winnipeg Biz is launching a new initiative called Open Corydon Little Italy, which will transform the area between Lilac and Daly Streets into a car-free zone on Sundays during the season. Pedestrians will be able to walk right down the center of the avenue and explore all the shops and spots that make that area special. Restaurants, cafes, and lounges will also be able to stretch out their patios right into the street, offering patrons even more open-air dining options. There will also be curated street experiences, including interactive public art installations, pop-up surprises, and floral displays lining the sidewalk. The fun officially kicks off July 5th and runs right through September 6th. And here is your Friday primetime lineup. Spring Break Murderers starts at 7. Crime Scene Investigators comes up next at 8. And Boston Blue wraps things up at 10. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
That's absolutely phenomenal. I don't know what to say.
A special gift from one Canadian artist to another. What went into this incredible piece of bottle cap art? And the special moment it was handed over to Burton Cummings himself.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
18 degrees outside, mostly cloudy, winds out of the north-northeast at 15 kilometers an hour. Looking out just west of Polo Park there. 20 degrees, the highest temperature of the day, so a little below normal, not quite where we were on this day a year ago, 26.4 degrees. Still the chance this evening of showers or a thunderstorm while that funnel cloud advisory remains in effect. Saturday, mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon, 20 degrees, 22 on Father's Day on Sunday. Lots happening Sunday merrily, and then a soggy start to the week Monday, Tuesday.
Thanks, Colleen. Well, an artist in Edmonton who created a special piece for a famous Canadian musician had the chance to present it to him in person. Burton Cummings is currently touring the country with the Guess Who and made a stop in Edmonton last week. CTV's Nariman Issa spoke with both the artists.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Wow, that's absolutely phenomenal. I don't know what to say.
A legendary singer and songwriter left speechless. This artwork had the 78-year-old in awe.
It was just really tremendous. What a tremendous thing.
The piece was created by local artist Jeff Mazeris. He creates his masterpieces using bottle caps. More than 3,700 bottle caps were used to create this image of Cummings.
When you're up close, you get to appreciate all those little finer details, and then when you step back, it all really comes together, and then, you can see Burton's face.
Mazeros included dozens of Easter eggs among the bottle caps.
I've got his initials here, BC, and then I also have Guess Who. I've got These Eyes, one of the very first hits that put them on the map.
Cummings thought These Eyes had seen it all when it came to fan art until now.
I've had portraits done and paintings and drawings and computer, you know, all that stuff, but what he did is totally unique.
Making this piece was special for Maziris. Cummings is one of his musical heroes.
I don't have the right words to describe, you know, how grateful and honored I am to have, you know, shown this to him, and to see his reaction was just the most heartwarming thing.
I'm very, very flattered and very honored, really and truly, and this is for real. I'm not faking this. I had a tear in my eye.
This painting will be displayed at Cummings' home in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Maziros has been commissioned to create another piece for a theatre in Winnipeg named after the singer. Naramnisa, CTV News, Edmonton.
Well, that excites me because I want to see that in person.
It is really neat. Yeah.
I love this art. Yeah,
very
it's
cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Get it up here so we can go see it in person. Take a selfie with it.
That's right.
Well done for that artist. I'm a big fan. All right, that does it for us tonight. Have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Father's Day.
Enjoy your weekend. See you back here Monday.